Think about the last person you fell for, not the one you picked with care. The one who just happened, the one you couldn't quite explain. You met them and something shifted, something in your chest before you'd even said more than 10 words. And then later, maybe weeks later, maybe years, you looked back and thought, why them? Why did it feel like that? Why does it always feel like that? Here's what nobody tells you. That feeling, it wasn't really attraction. It was your body recognizing something, a pattern, a familiarity so old you don't even remember learning it. And by the time your brain got involved, by the time you started thinking about them, wondering about them, wanting them, your nervous system had already made the call. You were already in it.
Welcome to Coupled Psychology, where we dive deep into love, attachment, and those patterns we can't seem to shake. We hear a lot of stories about attraction, that it's mysterious, that it's magic, that you either feel it or you don't. But what if attraction isn't magic at all? What if it's just your nervous system doing something it learned ages ago, and doing it so quickly that you feel it as emotion, not as thought? That's not a romantic idea, I know, but it might be one of the most helpful things you'll ever learn about yourself. Because once you see how it works, you stop being at its mercy. Today we're going to chat about what really happens in your body when you feel drawn to someone. Why certain people feel like electricity, why others feel safe but somehow less alive, and why the ones who break your heart often feel the most like home.
Your body decides first, always. You walk into a room, you scan faces, and in less than a second, without deciding, without thinking, certain people register differently. Your pulse does something, your attention shifts. You're aware of them in a way you're not aware of others. That's not chemistry. That's your nervous system running a recognition scan. It's asking, does this person match anything I already know? Does this feel familiar? Does this feel safe? Does this feel like something I need? And it does all of this before a single conscious thought forms. The brain then catches up. It builds a story. It says, there's something special about them. There's a connection. This feels different from other people. But the story came after. The body was already there. Helen Fisher, who spent decades studying the brains of people in love, found something that quietly changes how you see all of this. The parts of the brain that light up when we feel intense attraction aren't the soft, romantic parts. They're the survival parts. The same circuits that activate when you need food, when you're chasing something you desperately want. Your body treats the feeling of attraction like a resource it can't afford to lose. That's why it feels urgent. That's why it can override everything else. Logic, red flags, your own history of how this ends. It's not that you're weak, it's that your nervous system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. So where does the pattern come from? Think about the first relationships you ever had, not romantic ones, the ones before you were old enough to date. The people who were supposed to be there, the people who shaped what love felt like, what it looked like, how available it was, how safe it was to need someone. Your nervous system built a template from those experiences.
Not consciously, not in a way you chose. It just observed, again and again, how love worked in your world. And it built a kind of internal map. That map is still running, right now. It's the reason you walk into a room and feel something for this person, and not that one. The map is looking for a match. And here's the part that's tough to sit with. The match isn't always what's good for you. The match is what's familiar. If the love you grew up with was warm but unpredictable, if the people who cared for you were sometimes close, sometimes distant, sometimes there and sometimes gone, then your nervous system learned that uncertainty is part of love. It's part of the texture of it. So when you meet someone who runs a little hot and cold, who's amazing one day and somewhere else the next, your body doesn't say danger. It says, I know this. This feels like love. Not because you decided that, not because you're broken or have bad taste, because your nervous system is matching the pattern it was given. And the person who's steady, consistent, fully available, they might feel a little flat, a little boring. Not because there's nothing there, but because there's no uncertainty. And your nervous system hasn't learned yet what to do with that.
This is the part most people never realize. Familiarity and chemistry feel identical from the inside. Both create that pull, that sense of recognition, that feeling of, this person gets me, or this person is different, or I've never felt this way before. But they're not the same thing, and the difference matters a lot. Chemistry, real chemistry, usually has a quality of ease underneath the excitement. You feel more like yourself around them, not less. You don't spend the hours after seeing them replaying conversations, wondering what they meant, checking your phone for signs. The electricity is there, but so is the ground. Familiarity as chemistry is different. It's more consuming, more destabilizing. There's an urgency to it that doesn't quite make sense. You can feel both drawn towards someone and slightly off balance around them at the same time. Like part of you is chasing something and you're not sure what. That feeling, the chase, the uncertainty, the intensity that keeps pulling you back even when something doesn't quite add up. That's your nervous system recognizing a pattern, not finding its match, recognizing the shape of something old.
And the reason it feels like love is because, for you, this is what love has always felt like. The activation is the same. The urgency is the same. Your body can't tell the difference between the feeling of being in love and the feeling of being in a familiar emotional state. That's not a flaw. That's just how nervous systems work. The problem comes when you spend years chasing that feeling, thinking it means something, without ever asking, where does this feeling come from? So what do you do with all of this? You can't think your way out of it. You can't decide to be attracted to someone you're not. And you can't decide to stop feeling pulled towards someone just because you understand how it works. But you can start paying attention to the quality of the feeling. Not just whether it's there, but what kind of feeling it is.
Ask yourself, when I'm with this person, do I feel more like myself or less? After we talk, do I feel more settled or more anxious? Is the intensity I feel about them connected to who they actually are? Or is it mostly about waiting, wondering, not knowing? Those questions don't have clean answers at first, but they're worth sitting with. Because here's what the research actually shows. Your nervous system isn't fixed. It learns. Slowly, yes, but it does update. Every time you stay in a relationship that feels steady and let it feel real, every time you choose groundedness over urgency, you're giving your nervous system new data, a new experience of what it feels like to be loved without the cost. You're not broken because you keep being drawn to the same kind of person. You're just running an old map, and maps can be redrawn.
Your attraction has a history. That's not a weakness. It's information. The people who have felt most magnetic to you, the ones who lit something up, the ones who hurt you the most, they weren't accidents. They were your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Understanding that doesn't make you feel less. It helps you see more clearly. And seeing clearly is always the beginning of something new. If something in this video resonated with you, subscribe to Coupled Psychology. And let us know in the comments. Have you ever felt the difference between attraction that felt exciting and attraction that actually felt safe? We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.